there have been other hacks to the memory cards.
Harry Hursty.
Right. Diebold has come back every time and said, well, you know,
they're lying.
Can't happen.
They're lying. Diebold is lying.
What, their systems can't be hacked?
There is no system electronic in the world that cannot be hacked. I've spent my entire life building or hacking electronic systems. There are entire companies dedicated to ethical hacking, if you want to call it that. There is no system in the world, none, that cannot be hacked. If you give me the team of my choice of 8 people and 1 week, I will get any piece of data you want in the world. End discussion.
Well, then how do you secure such a piece of equipment then?
You don't. You use paper ballots.
Okay.
I can't make it any clearer than this. You cannot have secure electronic voting. Doesn't exist.
Well, what if there was transparency?
If there was transparency, you would be able to audit where a mistake had occurred and make decisions about what to throw away. But you wouldn't eliminate the effort to hack. The cleverness of bad guys is extraordinary. If you had complete transparency on the process, here's what would happen. People would eventually hack it and you'd have to throw away huge portions of things. If you want to use electronic systems to accelerate the process and make it more assured, there's no reason not to use optical scanning. You have a paper ballot, people mark it, you scan them very quickly into a system. Now, at that point, those need to have random sampling to compare the way the computer has actually recorded things versus some hand-chosen samples at random, 1 or 2%, and if 1 or 2% of random samples from the hand-counted paper ballots matches the computers, in all likelihood, you do not have a hack, in all likelihood. So at that point, you have a very high degree of assurance that what you have is an accurate tabulation vote. Other than that, you don't.
So securing data custody, that's really
correct.
The way it works.
And having a validated paper trail. You must have paper ballots. Once you have a paper ballot, once you have generated a hand-generated paper ballot is the best. It's cheapest, it's easy, it's foolproof, it's secure. The truth of the matter is that's still how a lot of things are done in the electronic world as well. Once you have generated that, you can validate how many ballots you have, who signed into a registry book, how the entire process has moved forward, and you can go back and audit and check if there's any kind of dispute. You then have accurate elections.
Okay. Let's go back to the Princeton hack, just briefly. Shocking detail on how a virus can be inserted into a machine. And I don't want you to explain necessarily how it works, but just to comment on something that Diebold's response to this particular hack by Princeton computer scientists was that they used an old machine.
As far as I understand, that machine came off the assembly line 2 months ago. I'm sure the registry number is there, but let's stop and think about this. 2 graduate students in 3 hours successfully hacked the machine. And once they had completed writing their hack, they then added a 4-line code of self-erasing virus to allow it to propagate across the network. That's just 2 guys with 2 hours who had no interest or motivation in doing it other than the scientific interest. There are people out there, and there's a lot of them, who don't really want to win elections. What they want to do is they want to steal them. They have an enormous incentive for power, they have an enormous incentive for money, and they have enormous willingness to go and do it. I don't want to have a society where we're not sure who won. I want to live in a democracy where there's a valid capacity to audit the entire trail. The Princeton guys did a brilliant job. It was a simple and elegant organization, but stop and think about it. It doesn't matter, even if it was an older machine. Okay, great, so it was configured the way the 2004 machines were figured? Well, in that case, does that mean the 2004 election was hackable? Diebold is lying again.
But even so, some of those machines still are in operation in states across the country.
Correct.
I see.
The 2002 machines, which were used to steal the Chambliss election, they're still in use in Georgia, same machines.